Hello, welcome to my follow-up video of the UNI-T 8805E. I want to show you the possibilities of the trigger input and the VMC output, and the possibility to make your multimeter a data logger for 24 hours measurement, for instance. The current configuration is that I have connected the multimeter via the VMC out to the blue trace channel 2 of my oscilloscope, and as you can see, at the moment we are working in the slow mode, so that means that the update rate is and you can, I don't know if you can read it, but it is 645 milliseconds. That is what is generated normally if you are in the slow mode. If you change that, for instance, to the medium, and I can do that here very easily, and you directly see that the number of measurements are increasing. It is increasing that it is 10 times per second. And if you go even higher, 10 times per second, if you go to, let's say, fast, then you see it is going to 5000 per second. That is displayed here, so let's maybe clear. No, 5 kilohertz. The width of the pulse is something between the 2.7 microseconds up to almost 4 microseconds. That's the range where the VMC out is sending out the signal to the oscilloscope, as you can see here. There is a possibility that you change the polarity. If you go to acquire, you can also set that in a negative value with this button, neg or pos. Yeah, so you have the possibility. Let's go back to the normal slow speed, and I also will go in the roll mode, and then you can see that every 645 milliseconds there is a trigger out signal, and that is going continuously. If you change the range, let's say it is now 200 millivolt, but you want to put it on let's say 20 volt, then you will notice that there are sometimes some readings missing, but that is because of the change in scale, so nothing to worry about. It takes a little bit more time. I have used my function generator to generate a sawtooth waveform. It has an amplitude of 2 volts and an offset of 0. So you can see on the oscilloscope that it will start to rising up to 2 volts and then falling down to 0. So that I have something to measure during this exercise. And the blue line is still the VMC out, so corresponding to the slow setting of the speed. I forgot to mention that the frequency is or the period is 60 seconds, so one waveform will go after 1 minute, then it is reaching 0 volt again and start growing to 2 volt, just for fun, let's say. Um, so if you go to the acquire menu, you see that the trigger source is auto, because that's the standard configuration always. The delay is also set to automatic. The VMC out, yeah, okay, you can see that on the screen that you can change that. The delay, if we set the delay on manual, you see here there is an additional button visible, and it is called delay time, and we can make the slow measurement, which was 645 milliseconds, even longer. So if I increase that, and I will increase it with you can specify that in microseconds, but I will do that in, let's add 300 milliseconds, and now we are getting roughly, and we have to, you can see that also on the screen, there is more time in between. So the scale is now 2 seconds per division, and we see now 2 divisions, or 2 seconds for one division. So we have 1 measurement per second now. We can increase that. We can increase that even longer. So we can increase that from 300 milliseconds to 1.3 milliseconds. So 1.3. But then you would expect that there was an additional seconds attached to it, but it is even more than 1 second, so I don't understand completely the resolution of the second. What is the definition of the second there? That's not really what I'm seeing on the oscilloscope. Yeah, so even if I go to 2.3 seconds, we see that it is getting it costs more time, but the total time I don't understand what how you can calculate on forehand what is the interval. They're only talking about delay time, and the delay time plus the measurement time, that would be the interval time, and we are measuring here the interval time, and yeah, okay, but I have seen that you can easily make, for instance, 10 seconds, but then you have to enter not 10 seconds here, but something like 6 seconds, 6.7 seconds, and then you will end up with 10 seconds there. But well, okay. I don't know if that is a bug or a misunderstanding from my side, I don't know, but it would be nice if that was more clear, that you could set the interval, I would say, but okay. It's working, that's fine. Also the delay time, what I'm saying, plus the measurement time is related to the mode where you are operating in. It is now in the slow mode, but if you are going in the medium, then the timing is also changed there. So you have to keep that in mind. And I think if you really want to know how this is working with the delay combined with the speed, you have to use the oscilloscope to determine the real interval time, if you would put it like that. Before I continue, I think it is easier to put the range in manual mode so that it doesn't change every time. So if you go back to acquire, let's start to use the single trigger. What is the single trigger? Well, we have a button here, single, so we can define here also the delay time and the number of samples we want to have. So if we say we want to have a delay time, let's say, of 0.3 seconds, in slow That means 1 second interval time, and let's say we want to have 5 samples. So what will happen now is, at the moment that I will press single, we will get 5 measurements, and that will be also stored in the history. So let's do that. So we are starting with 5, and you see it is reaching already 2 volts. So let's wait a little bit. Yeah, I will do a trigger, and we have here, yeah, you can see here we have here 5 measurements. If I go to the history, you also see here that there are 5 records. There is no update anymore because we're running one single trigger, and in the list you can see then the 5 measurements done in that time. So if I go and I do again a single trigger, it will go and it will flush, look, the records tree, and if I do update, then I'm again 5 triggers. So you can see I have put here 5 values with an interval time of 1 second now. Let's play again with this. The single trigger, let's increase the number of samples. The delay time, let's keep it the same, and if you are pressing the single, you see here now 10 times with an interval of roughly 1 second, and it is stopping again as expected. Let's make it even more. Let's put 100 samples. You can set whatever you like. Again, we do a single trigger, we go to history, and we can now see with the update, we have 6 records, 10, 12, 14. Now let's wait a little bit. So we are almost there. So 98, and single stopped. So if I do update, it is 100. Nothing will not go further, and you can easily, with the save menu, you can say type measurement, and you can store the 100 measurements in a comma separated file on the UNI-T, and you can later on copy that on a USB, or you store it directly on a USB, and you have all your measurements what you want to have. Yeah, in fact, if you set the delay time to what was it, 6.7 seconds. Oh. And you set the samples on no, 10,000, and you do you start, then you have a data logger for 24 hours. So if I start this, and then you can see on the scope the first measurement, and I have here 2 seconds per division, and 5 divisions later you see the second trigger. And if you see on the history, it is counting, so we are now in record number 3. For every 10 seconds there will be 1 record added. So, and you can also look to the list if you want. what is already stored there. And yeah, you have to keep that for 24 hours or something like that. And you have a data logger built in by yourself on the Unity. So I think maybe that's handy, because the number of logging records is limited to 10,000, so that's not that much, but with an interval of 10 seconds you can easily do a data logger for a complete day. So yeah, I think it's a nice solution. Now I'm not waiting for 24 hours. I believe it will work, but if I want to stop this, then we get a little bit a nasty situation, because we are, what I'm saying, we are not waiting for the end. So if I say, oh, we will stop, then I was thinking, now I abort the whole single measurement of 10,000 points. But if I push stop, yeah, okay, it's good. And then I go back to acquire. I will trigger auto. Then you see that the 10 seconds is still there, okay, but you have to keep in mind, set that back to the auto, and you are as it was in this normal startup situation. You have to do that like that, otherwise the software sometimes is a little bit buggy, I have seen, because if you are playing with it, sometimes there was no trigger at all, but I cannot reproduce the scenario. It is working fine if you do it directly on the way I'm saying, but yeah, if you misuse some buttons, sometimes there is no triggering at all anymore, and then you have to restart the complete device. I have done that several times, and luckily the device is very fast in booting, so it is not maybe a big deal, but yeah, keep that in mind if you are playing with it. But okay, overall it is working. The other thing I want to show you is that what about external triggering. So yeah, if we press external, we get the same menu. Now there is another button there, and that is for the pulse. You are using the trigger input of the device now. So what I have done is I used my generator on the second channel to generate a pulse. So and the pulse is triggered on the positive or negative side of it. You can also set here the samples. I will not set it to. I will set it to one pulse. I only want to have one sample. So you see here now external trigger. Then I already prepared, of course, the my second channel. If I enable the second channel, I first have to switch it on, and I think you already saw a pulse automatically because I switched it on. It was not what I want to do, but yeah, okay, you can see it also there. But if I press this button, then nothing happens. Why is it not working? So why was it not working? I don't know. I put there was no pulse generated by the waveform generator. I added now the purple channel, the purple trace. If I press trigger, you see here the pulse, and if you look to the multimeter, you also saw that there was a measurement done, and that is the blue trigger of the UNI-T itself. So there is some kind of delay. So let's do it again. If I press there, you see Ext Trigger, and then there is a delay. The delay, yeah, it's set to auto. I don't know what the meaning of that is, but you can switch that delay off by set the delay time by yourself. So the delay time is very long now. Let's do that shorter, or as I don't know if that's if that is working, but let's see. Trigger. Yeah, still there is a delay of reasonable time. If I change the slope and I do that again, I don't see it. Yeah, it is coming. I don't know why it is not working on the first time, but now you see that the trigger is coming faster. The number of samples, yeah, you can also say, okay, I want to have 2 samples, so if I do a triggering now, I would like to have 2, and indeed I see here 2 measurements. So if I go and want to have 5, and I press the trigger of the waveform, and indeed you get 5 waveforms, or sorry, 5 measurements. So if I go to the history, here it is counting up, it is not resetting. So if I go do trigger 5 times and I do update, no, at the moment it doesn't look, it is not always working. Maybe I have not set the correct parameters. The instrument is triggered, but now it is working. Maybe my setting is not completely correct. Yeah, maybe I have to look into it. If I go back to history, I trigger now again. Okay, if you are in the history, apparently it doesn't work. I don't know if this is the conclusion, but that is what. Okay, go back and come out of the history, and now, yeah. Nou ja, that are maybe those are the little things which are a little bit strange that it is not working. But let's go back to the history, and we can see, okay, it is now 52. If I go back, I press again trigger, we will get 5 additional measurements. So the number of records should be increased indeed to 57, 5 more than the previous one. So okay, it is working, but you shouldn't be in the history menu, otherwise the update is not processed on I don't know what kind of reason, but yeah, okay, you have to keep that in mind then. But yeah, overall it is working, and yeah, I think it is nice that you have this feature, and what I said, you can make in easy data logger 24 hours without use of external devices, so you don't need really a waveform generator. If you want to go beyond 24 hours, yes, you need it, because then you can maybe set and trigger every 5 minutes or 1 hour or whatever. That's up to you, of course. But no. Okay, what I want to say, the software is not completely stable. Sometimes you have to reset, but if you do it one time correctly, then it is working fine. So yeah, that was it for this video. In the next video I have some other things in mind which I will show you after Christmas, yeah, okay, that was it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.